Hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie Eisinger. Welcome to the Divorce Recovery How to Obtain an Emotional Divorce webinar. I'm really glad that all of you are here. I'm excited to be sharing this information with you because I know just how powerful it is. Going through a divorce can be a very difficult time. Divorce stirs up a lot of toxic feelings that can include anger, anxiety, fear, stress, depression, hurt, shame, guilt, loneliness, and feelings of rejection and abandonment. All of these emotions can be a normal part of the divorce process, but holding on to them is toxic for you. Toxic can be defined as acting as or having the effect of a poison. Long-term effects of holding on to toxic emotions can take a toll on an individual's physical health, but it can also wreak havoc on them emotionally, mentally, and behaviorally. Before, during, and after the actual divorce decree is finalized, your emotions can be all over the place, your thoughts negatively skewed, and your behavior can be completely irrational and out of character. Divorce needs to be viewed as a process, not just an event. There's a legal part to the process and an equally important emotional part to the process. Both parts need to be navigated well if you want to successfully recover from divorce. By being proactive in how you deal with the whole process gives you some control over your life and how the situation unfolds. You can drag it out, putting your future on hold, and stay immersed in misery, or you can take the bull by the horns and do what is necessary to live happier now and in the future. I want to congratulate all of you. You've taken an enormous step toward obtaining an emotional divorce and getting rid of the overwhelmingly painful and toxic feelings by registering for and attending this webinar. You will discover how to change how you feel and think about your situation, and you will begin the process of letting go of the past and moving on to a bright and beautiful future. Gene Kerr put it this way: divorce is like being hit by a Mack truck. If you live through it, you start looking very carefully to the right and to the left. If the information provided in this webinar is faithfully utilized, it can help you start to recover from this feeling and help you to heal in a way that you don't carry an open or festering wound into future relationships. This webinar is designed for individuals who are divorced or divorcing and who want to release their toxic emotions and regain control over their emotional lives. It's for individuals who are ready and willing to take responsibility for their own feelings and to make positive changes in their lives. It's for individuals who want to act with integrity regardless of the circumstances. This webinar is for individuals who refuse to allow their lives to continue to be torn apart by a relationship that no longer exists. It's for individuals who want to let go of the past and live happier, more productive lives that enable them to build an awesome future. And this webinar is especially for individuals who want to refocus their energy in a positive, forward-moving direction and get beyond the pain, anger, and turmoil of divorce, but just don't know how. In the next 45 minutes, I'm going to tell you how to release your toxic and painful feelings without self-medicating, without using drugs, alcohol, food, or other relationships to numb your pain. I'm going to tell you how to let go of the past and move forward to a happier, healthier future. Joseph Campbell said, "We must be willing to let go of the life we had planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us." I'm also going to tell you how to take healthy, proactive actions in the present, how to counter negative thoughts and behavior, and how to rebuild your life post-divorce. I promise that if you stick with me until the end of this webinar, I will show you how to release your toxic feelings, let go of the past, and take positive actions to develop an awesome vision for the future. There's nothing for sale on this webinar, but if you stay with me, I will provide you with access to an invaluable article on recognizing toxic behavior that will help you determine if you are allowing toxic people to infect your life. If you are being honest with yourself, does this sound like you? Are you wondering what's wrong with you that you couldn't make the relationship work? Are you experiencing a roller coaster of emotions, or are you bogged down with depression or consumed by anger? Are negative thoughts fueling your behavior? Do you feel anxious, even terrified about the unknowns in your future? Are you paralyzed by your thoughts and emotions to the point that you are not looking out for your own best interests? Or are your thoughts and emotions driving you to revengeful behavior? Do you feel like your life is in constant turmoil? If this is how you feel, I have good news for you. None of these are the problem. The real problem is that you don't know the secret to living a happier life. I'm going to tell you what that secret is in a moment. Once you know the secret, you will have control over how you feel. You will be able to counter negative, self-defeating thoughts and beliefs. You will be able to banish the fears you have about the unknowns in your future. Once you know the secret, you will have motivation to let go of your anger and any need for revenge. You will act with integrity and self-confidence, and you will have effective, healthy strategies to deal with negative situations in your present and your future. The only thing you need to know is that there are 3 key strategies that you can apply to move beyond the anger and the pain of your divorce and to take vital steps to create the future of your dreams. And I'm going to show you the 3 key strategies today. But first, let me take a moment to tell you a little bit about who I am and just why the heck you should listen to me. I'm a licensed clinical professional counselor who has taught divorce and relationship recovery classes for over 12 years. I'm also a certified professional coach who focuses on divorce recovery, loss, and empowerment issues. My specialty is empowering individuals to develop healthy strategies to deal with life's challenges and to tap into their power to attract beautiful people and beautiful things into their lives. Well, those are some of my professional qualifications, but on a more personal note, let me share with you a little bit about my own experiences with divorce recovery and letting go of the past. I wasn't always the strong, confident, and successful woman I am today. I grew up with 2 emotionally unavailable parents. I witnessed my mother's slide into depression as the result of an emotionally crippling marriage. Her fear of what others would think and the strong messages she received from her mother made her feel like she had to stay in the marriage even though she was being severely damaged by doing so. She had inherited the core belief, you made your bed, now lie in it. She also had the misconception that she needed to stay in the marriage for my brothers and my sake, not realizing the detrimental effect it was having on us. When I was 18, she was finally able to find the courage to say, I deserve better. With my support and the support of loving friends, she eventually sought a divorce. My mother was too immersed in her own emotional pain and depression to be available to emotionally support or protect me while I was young. Coupled with my father's cold lack of emotional attachment, it created an empty void inside of me that I was ill-equipped to fill. My neediness led me to marry someone who was toxic for me, even though the red flags were evident. The marriage was a disaster and ended when I had a life-altering, out-of-body experience in which I had the strange sensation of hovering over myself as I sat crying on our bedroom floor. I didn't even recognize myself. In a few short months, I had become a terrified shadow of my former self, and I had given up everything in an attempt to make my marriage work. It seems that even though I was my mother's strongest advocate in her need to get out of a damaging relationship, I too had inherited the belief that I had made my bed and must lie in it. For the first time since I was a little girl, I reached out to my mother for the support and unconditional love I needed, and this time she was able to provide it. She had since found a wonderful man who treated us both as precious additions to his life. Their love and support helped me to get out of my abusive marriage and begin to heal my broken heart. Unfortunately, although I had learned many valuable lessons, I had not yet learned the keys to having a healthy partnership or to filling my own emotional void. I did not take the time to become whole before I got married again. My second marriage quickly became one of habit, security, and indifference. We became two ships passing in the night, not even invested enough in the relationship to fight. It was too good to leave, but not good enough to generate happiness, to support love, or to be a true partnership. It wasn't until I began to see a pattern in the stories of the individuals I was working with professionally that I began to take note of the true keys to having a happy, healthy relationship and to apply them consistently in my own life. The number one thing I had to do was work on myself first. I took 12 years before I decided to get married again. I am now blessed to be married to a man who loves me for who I am, faults and all, who supports and encourages me to pursue all of my life goals, and who is my partner in all ways essential to a happy, fulfilling relationship. Suffice it to say, I had to learn how to let go of the past and heal myself through trial and error, and it took years. So take the wisdom I'm offering and find the courage to apply it to your own life. I don't want you to have to wait that long to find your happy future. I am invested in helping you find your path to a future filled with peace and happiness. Okay, I promised to show you the secret to obtaining an emotional divorce. The next portion of the webinar focuses on discovering the 3 key strategies for an awesome recovery. Over the years, I've had the chance to work with lots of people. Some of the people I've worked with have had extraordinary breakthroughs that were life-changing. Some of the people I've worked with have had pretty good results and have been able to move on and have a good life. And some of the people I've worked with didn't get results, and they stayed stuck in their pain and depression and anger and continued to attract the same type of relationships. When I began looking at these people's progress, the progress of my colleagues' clients, and my own personal journey, I discovered that the people who made the biggest differences in their lives, the ones with the greatest progress, were doing these 3 very specific things. And they were doing them consistently, enthusiastically, and without looking back. The people who were able to successfully recover from the pain of divorce and go on to have amazing lives, the ones able to go from being divorce survivors to individuals who are thriving, were the ones who embraced these strategies and used them moment by moment, day by day, consistently, no matter how tough it got. And you too can go from a place where you are merely surviving to a place where you are thriving, a place where you feel whole again, a place where you are happy, self-confident, future-oriented, and know exactly who you are and what you want in your life. These 3 key strategies you must apply in order to move from surviving a divorce to thriving in all areas of your life. And I'm going to walk you through all 3 of them right now. Key strategy number 1 is to release the painful and toxic feelings. Common feelings related to a devastating relationship breakup can have detrimental physical effects. Research has linked heart disease, stress, cancer, heart attacks, and strokes to unexpressed toxic feelings like anger, anxiety, guilt, and depression. If you master this key strategy of releasing your painful and toxic feelings, you will be taking a healthy step toward preventing the physical ailments that holding on to toxic feelings can contribute to. You will release the toxic feelings and open yourself up to feeling love and joy again. You will feel lighter and much more energetic. If you master this key strategy, you will be comfortable expressing all of your emotions. You will not experience the negative consequences of your toxic emotions coming out sideways, and your world will be bright and colorful again, and you will be excited about what the future holds for you. But if you do not master this key strategy, you will continue to stay stuck in depression or anger, becoming increasingly anxious and falling deeper and deeper into loneliness and despair. You will damage existing relationships when your toxic feelings lead you to overreact to situations. This is the sideways I was talking about earlier. You will isolate yourself and narrow your world until all you can envision is a bleak future with no promise of happiness. If you do not master this key strategy, you will feel an empty void inside of you growing and threatening to consume you. Your anger will create problems in all areas of your life, and you will become involved in another relationship before you are ready, or you will avoid relationships altogether. Here is how to release your painful and toxic feelings. Realize that feelings in and of themselves are not bad. Understand that we need the negative emotions in order to appreciate the positive ones. Imagine that it's Christmas morning and you're surrounded with loving family and no worries. And those feelings of excitement and joy and peace that you feel, well, they feel pretty great. But now imagine having that kind of day every day, day after day. Pretty soon, it would start to feel pretty normal. And then, kind of boring. And after a while, just plain blah. No longer would the wonderful feelings feel so good because you don't have negative emotions to contrast it to. Then also accept uncomfortable, angry, and painful feelings as being normal. Allow yourself to feel them, express them, and then let them go. I remember a time during my second marriage when I was feeling completely overwhelmed with my feelings of resentment and loneliness, and it seemed like on this particular day, my two little girls were bound and determined to act like little monsters. Well, they were 2 and 3 at the time. I was on the verge of taking my toxic feelings out on them and reacting to their behavior in a way that I would be ashamed of. So I told them both to just sit there for a minute and I would be right back. I went upstairs into the bathroom and shut the door. As soon as I shut the door, I let out a scream that came from somewhere deep inside of me, all the while visualizing all of my painful and toxic feelings flowing out with the power of my scream. Immediately, I felt better, calmer, more peaceful, much lighter. I went back out to deal with my children's behavior. They were staring at me with great big eyes. I smiled and told them that Mommy just needed to let off a little steam, and then told them that they had both earned some mommy time. They looked about as skeptical as two young girls can look, but we ended up having the most wonderful day. So remember, use whatever means of expression is the most powerful for you, whether it's verbally expressing your feelings to someone you trust, or through writing poems or journaling, painting, drawing, or even making a collage. The most important part to remember is that you must fully express your feelings and get them outside of yourself in order to let them go. Healing doesn't mean that the damage never existed. It means the damage no longer controls your life. So letting go of those toxic feelings is a huge part in doing this. Releasing your angry and toxic feelings frees you to think positively about your present and your future. It allows you room for positive, energizing thoughts that lead to great decisions and to a strong desire to protect yourself and to build your future. You will be filled with renewed hope and ready to discover who you are now so that you can follow your dreams. Think of hope as standing for having only positive expectations. Key strategy number 2 is to shift how you think. Your relationship ending and your divorce is not the problem. The problem is how you think about the relationship ending and the divorce. How we think determines how we feel, and how we feel determines how we think. How we think and feel together determines how we act. Working together, our thoughts, feelings, and actions create our lives as we experience them. Think of thoughts, feelings, and behaviors as being at the corner of a triangle. If you change one, it affects the other. So, by changing our thoughts, we can change our feelings, and that will affect our behavior. Or we could change our behavior, and that would affect our thoughts and subsequently our feelings. An example might help to clarify how this works. Think of the following scenario. A farmer is in the middle of harvesting his crop when he wakes up one morning to rain pouring down outside. He cusses the rain, thinking of how much time will be wasted, of how the harvest crew will be sitting around with nothing to do, and of the fact that he cannot pay his bills until the crops are in. He starts to feel anxious, worried, frustrated, and angry. And when his wife smiles at him, tells him good morning, and asks if he'd like a second cup of coffee, he snaps at her and cusses the weather and the wasted day. His wife instantly feels hurt and rejected, thinking, "I'm not important. The crops are more important than I am." She turns to leave the room, but then she remembers that ultimately she has control over how she feels. She turns back to her husband and says, "I'm sorry the rain has ruined your plans for the day, but I have missed you, and I'm glad that we have the chance to spend some time together today. What would you like to do with our day?" She immediately feels happier and much more confident. The farmer, in surprise, considers his wife's words. He begins to think of how nice it would be to spend time with her too, and that he really would like to get some things done around the house for her that she's needed done for a long time. He begins to feel less anxious and frustrated and starts to look forward to the day. He smiles and says, I think I will have that second cup of coffee after all." The wife's decision to change how she responded to her husband quickly changed the situation from one that would drive a wedge between them to one in which they had the opportunity to grow closer as a couple. So it's how our thoughts, feelings, and actions affect each other that creates how we experience our day-to-day lives. You didn't know you had so much control over your life, did you? We are truly amazing beings. We need only tap into our power to make big changes in our lives. So if you master the key strategy of shifting how you think, you will reframe how you view any problem that comes up in your life as a challenge. You will see the positives of the divorce. You will forgive yourself and the other person. You will feel confident in your ability to secure your own future and find lasting love. But if you do not master this key strategy, You will continue to see your divorce as a terrible tragedy that you may never recover from. You will perpetuate a negative way of viewing relationships, yourself, and the world around you. You will stay angry or depressed and miserable. You will be unable to attract the type of relationship you've always desired and will carry your relationship baggage with you. Here is how to shift how you think. Shift your thinking from the past to the present and the future. Shift your thinking from the potential problems in the future to the potential in your future vision. You cannot think of or solve all potential future problems. It's a waste of time and energy to worry about what may never happen. It does make sense, however, to think about the most likely problems that may crop up and develop an action plan to deal with them. This will actually decrease your anxiety about the future. Understand that your power is in the present. That is where you can plan and make the changes you want and need to make. Shift your thinking from a negative focus to a positive focus. You will bring into your life what you choose to focus on. Shifting how you think will increase your ability to fully release the toxic and painful feelings and to focus your thoughts on what you want in your future. Key strategy number 3, develop an action plan. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Part of any successful endeavor is the development of a detailed action plan that provides a roadmap to get to the desired outcome. In your case, developing a plan for the present and the future definitely qualifies as an undertaking in which you want a successful outcome. If you master this key strategy, you will make decisions with confidence and with your end goal in mind. You will reach your end goal much quicker and easier, not allowing yourself to become distracted along the way. You will be empowered to act on your own choices and not just react to situations as they arise. And you will envision your future and take steps to achieve it. But if you do not master this key strategy, you will make decisions that are counterproductive to your desired outcome. Your journey to your desired future will lack direction. You might become lost along the way and end up taking paths that are winding and much longer and more arduous than necessary. You will be unsure of yourself and too easily swayed by fleeting emotions. You will be unclear on what you want in your future and not know the steps to get there. Here's how to develop an action plan. Decide what your goals are for the present and the future and prioritize them. Pick 3 of the most important to work on. This could be a combination of long and short-term goals. Develop SMART goals, listing the specific steps needed to achieve each goal. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-framed. You want to make sure that the goals are specific enough and measurable enough that you know when you've achieved them. They need to be achievable and realistic, and time frame them so that you have some built-in accountability to getting them done. Then find someone to help hold you accountable to taking action. Revise your goals as you go along to make sure that they are actually what you want and are doable. Developing an action plan with SMART goals will enable you to meet life's challenges and to focus on positive future-oriented thoughts and actions. To illustrate the power of these 3 key strategies, I'd like to share a couple of stories of former clients with you. The first one is about Jan. When I first met Jan, she was self-medicating with drugs and alcohol, trying to numb her pain and fill the empty void she felt inside. She was debilitated by a negative self-image and depression. She was engaging in a self-destructive pattern of behavior, not caring enough to protect herself, and she was feeling worthless. After Jan's divorce, she began to experience a downward spiral that had led to a series of toxic relationships and one-night stands. Jan was feeling hopeless and helpless. But by applying these 3 key strategies, Jan became able to pull herself out of her depression. She became able to release the painful and toxic feelings that were generated from her past and her divorce. She was able to embrace the future she could now envision for herself, and she was able to see the value in herself and in the wisdom that she had gained from her experiences along the way. Armed with these 3 key strategies, Jan let go of her past and made room for new thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. She quit self-medicating with drugs and alcohol, no longer feeling the need. She enrolled in school to pursue the career she always wanted, and she met a man who treated her like every woman deserves, with love, respect, and mutual care. In summary, Jan's story illustrates just how powerful these 3 key strategies are in helping individuals move away from their place of darkness and toward a bright, beautiful future filled with love, hope, and peace. She made a great recovery after her divorce. Jan's choice to embrace the help of a coach who believed in her innate ability to determine what was best for her and who kept her focused on her goals and dreams helped speed her divorce recovery. Another client, whose name is Daniel. I first met Daniel. He was angry about child support and his ex-wife's infidelity. He was drinking every night, that he didn't have the kids, of course, with sympathetic friends. He was neglecting things that used to be important to him. And he was exhibiting poor work performance due to his distraction and his anger and his inability to concentrate. Daniel was numbing and stuffing his toxic feelings, trying to pretend that he felt nothing but anger and betrayal. He was feeling guilty deep down that he had neglected his marriage and his ex-wife. He was entrenched in the role of being the victim. Daniel was lying to himself about his feelings and his responsibility in the disintegration of his marriage. Daniel was holding on to his anger to avoid dealing with the underlying feelings of guilt, shame, and hurt. The anger was much more acceptable to him, and it gave him a false sense of power. But by applying these 3 key strategies, Daniel became able to let go of his anger, able to release other painful and toxic feelings, able to embrace the future he could now envision for himself, and able to admit his part in the disintegration of his marriage. Armed with these 3 key strategies, Daniel let go of the past. He quit avoiding his underlying feelings. He let go of his anger, forgiving himself and his ex-wife. And he started to envision a brand new future. In summary, Daniel's story also illustrates how powerful consistently using the 3 key strategies is in helping individuals let go of their anger and guilt and to take responsibility for their own thoughts, feelings, and actions. Daniel also chose to engage in life coaching in order to move on and start over. He took positive actions to develop an action plan for the future and move beyond his anger and guilt. He became focused on what he wanted in his life and has since met a woman who brings out the very best in him. Here's how life coaching can help you let go and move on. Life coaching provides structure, support, education, and accountability. Life coaching is focused on helping individuals find their own answers and not looking for solutions outside of themselves. Life coaching is about empowering individuals to build something new. Earlier, I promised to tell you how to release your toxic and painful feelings without self-medicating, how to let go of the past and move forward to a happier, healthier life. I promised to tell you how to take healthy, proactive actions in the present, how to counter negative thoughts and behavior, and how to rebuild your post-divorce life. What you need to do to let go and move on. To recover faster and more successfully from a divorce, you will need to release toxic and painful feelings and make room for happiness. You will need to shift how you think, focusing on positive thoughts and your future. And you will need to develop an action plan, strengthening your resolve to take actions that will bring love and joy into your life. New beginnings are often disguised as painful endings, but you can do this. Now you have a choice. You can take this information and file it away and not take any action. And you can stay stuck where you are, mired down in unhappiness, anger, depression, and grief, hanging on to a past that no longer exists. You can be a survivor, but you were drawn to this webinar for a reason. You want to feel better now, and you want renewed hope for a brighter tomorrow. You can find all the excuses in the book why not to take action. There's not enough time. It's selfish to invest in myself. Change is too hard. But as David Rhodes put it, you cannot always wait for the perfect time. Sometimes you must dare to jump. Well, I'm challenging you to jump. Take this extraordinary opportunity to obtain an emotional divorce, become more self-aware, and make changes that help you create the life that you've always wanted, always dreamed of, always deserved. You can become a powerful change agent for your life. If you take this opportunity, you will have confidence in your own abilities to have a great career, the romantic relationship of your choosing, and a sense of purpose as you pursue your dreams. Here's how I can help. If that's what you want, then I have an offer for you. I have set aside time in the next week to talk with you about how you can apply these 3 key strategies in your life right away. The cost? Free. I've provided you with 3 general strategies, but the truth is, everyone's situation is different, even if it looks similar on the surface. The call will help you individualize these strategies to focus on your particular needs and to provide you with a way to go more in depth on how to do this. But here's the catch. This is not for everyone. Who this is for? It's for individuals who are absolutely committed to making positive changes in their lives. It's for individuals who are willing to take responsibility and immediate action. It's for individuals who are open and willing to learn about themselves and to do the hard work required. It is for people who are committed to investing in themselves. Now you may be asking yourself why I'm doing this. Well, on the call, I'll help you get total clarity about exactly what you want your life to be like and the exact steps you need to take to achieve your goals. If you want me to help you and I think you're a good fit, I may invite you to become one of the new clients I take on this month. I will take you through the same steps I offer to my one-on-one coaching clients, but in a shorter time frame so that you can let go and move on to begin living your dreams. So what are you waiting for? Click here to get started right away. Take this extraordinary opportunity to invest in yourself and work towards an emotional divorce. I'd like to leave you with this final thought. Life goes on whether you choose to move on and take a chance on the unknown or stay behind locked in the past, thinking of what could have been. It's your choice, but I sincerely hope that I will be talking to you very soon. As promised, here's the link to the article resource on how to recognize toxic behavior. Take care, everyone.